Today in our 2012 Ford Edge, we will be having a look at and installing the CURT Class 2 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C12036. All right, here's what our hitch looks like installed. One thing you'll notice about our hitch is that it does not stick out past our fascia, so we don't have to worry quite as much about running our shin into the back of the receiver as we're loading cargo into our hatch area. One great thing about this hitch is that we do have adequate clearance around our receiver area from the fascia. This will make it an ideal hitch to use with some bike racks and cargo carriers. Now this Class 2 hitch has our industry standard 1.25" receiver opening right here. At the end of the opening, we have this nice collar that's welded on to help increase the strength of it and give us a more finished look. This hitch features a 350-pound max tongue weight rating, which is the amount forcing down, and a 3,500-pound max gross trailer weight rating, which is the amount that we can pull. You'll want to consult with the owner's manual of your Ford Edge and not exceed the limits of the vehicle itself. Now, if you are going to use this hitch for a non-trailer application, such as a bike rack or a cargo carrier, CURT does require the use of a stabilization strap to help support the load. We have those available separately on our website. On the side of our hitch, you'll find our industry standard 1/2" diameter hitch pin hole to secure any of our hitch mounted accessories. And on the bottom, we have this nice plate that's welded on the receiver and to the frame of the hitch itself, giving us a solid anchor point for our safety chain loops, which are a fairly decent size opening, so we shouldn't have much problem at all hooking onto them. Now for a few measurements to better assist you in choosing any hitch mounted accessory, such as your ball mount, bike rack, or cargo carrier. You're looking at about 5 inches from the center of the hitch pin hole to the rearmost part of the back bumper, and about 13 inches from the ground to the top of the receiver opening. Now that we've gone over some features, we'll show you how to get it installed. Find ourselves underneath our vehicle at the back of it. This is our exhaust right here. We're going to have to lower this down in order to install our hitch. But in order to keep from damaging it, we're going to place in a strap to help support it. Okay, now we have 3 exhaust hangers that we're going to have to remove. We have one towards the back on each side of the muffler. We'll use some spray lubricant to help them slide off easier. And then we have one in the center at the front of the muffler. Okay, now we'll use a pry bar and pry off our exhaust hangers. With our hangers removed, we'll carefully lower the exhaust on down with our strap supporting it. Okay, our vehicle has 2 heat shields above the muffler, one on each side. On each frame rail, we find 2 8mm screws that help hold the heat shield in place. We'll remove both of these screws. Okay, with those screws removed on our frame rail, pull it on down here, and we'll just trim off this section right here to have clearance for our hitch hardware. Use a pair of 10 snips for that. All right, that's great right there. Now we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Each one of our frame rails has 2 existing holes in it that we'll be using to hold in our hardware to put the hitch in place. We have this large oval shaped hole here. This will be our forwardmost hole. Then we have this round hole right here. This is our middle hole in our hitch. The rear one will be drilled at a later point in time. We'll take our pull wire here and we'll go through the oval hole for the front and run it out towards the back of the frame rail. Okay, here's where our pull wire comes out. We'll take one of our spacer blocks here, slide it onto the wire, insert that into the frame rail, and then we'll thread on one of our carriage bolts that's shorter. We have 2 long ones. We're using the 4 short ones right now. Now we'll pull the bolt into the frame rail, and we'll come down through the hole where we can remove our pull wire now. Okay, so here's our short and our long bolt. The long bolt goes towards the very rear in a hole that we will drill later once we have our short hardware in place. We'll now use our pull wire again and do the middle one. And it's the same process with a spacer block on the wire first. And then insert that into the frame rail. And we'll thread on our bolt. And pull that down through the hole. Remove our pull wire. And we'll repeat this process for the passenger side. Now with an extra set of hands, we'll raise our hitch up in position and secure it with our hex flange nuts on the middle and the front bolts. And now we'll use a 3/4 inch socket and we'll snug down our 2 nuts on each side. Okay, now with our hitch snug up against the frame rails of our vehicle, we will use the back hole as a guide to drill a small pilot hole right in the center of it. Okay, now we'll enlarge the hole to the proper size. Okay, now we'll repeat the same process for the other side. All right, now that we have our holes drilled, we'll take our pull wire again, go through the hole and out the back of the frame rail. Place on our block. Push that inside the frame rail. Take our long bolt, thread it on, and pull that on down through the hole. Remove our pull wire, thread on our flange nut, snug it on down. Now we'll use a torque wrench and torque our hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. And now we'll reinstall our exhaust. With the hitch in place and the exhaust reinstalled, we'll make sure we remove our strap. And that completes our look at and installation of the CURT Class 2 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C12036 on our 2012 Ford Edge.